There's no response at my first knock, which makes me feel all the more ridiculous. At my second, though, I hear shuffling on the other side of the door.
No one ever...
It pops open against the lock, and I see a single green eye blinking at me curiously.
What the fuck?
It shuts. Then opens again, this time with the lock undone. Orlam stares at me as though he's never seen me before in his life. He's an absolute mess, hair jutting out in greasy clumps, cheeks a sickly gray, and eyes sunken atop boulder-sized bags. He's wearing the same shirt as yesterday with nothing but boxers and socks beneath. Iggy? He blinks. I raise a hand with what I hope is a friendly wave. Hey, Then when I have no idea what else to say, I called earlier? He squints, tilts his head, then seems to snap to attention, frantically searching his pockets. When he doesn't find what he's looking for, he throws a glance back into the apartment before returning his gaze sheepishly.
I seem to have misplaced my phone.
His eye twitches.
Did you need something?
Well, is everything okay? I guess I got worried when you didn't pick up. Another twitch.
You were worried about me.
He blinks. Yeah, I mean, sure. I shrug, cock a brow. You don't look so hot. He laughs, though it's more skittish than his usual laugh, almost nervous.
I'm fine, just, bit under the weather.
Drank too much yesterday? I ask with a grin. He smiles, except that it's not quite a smile, more like disguising a grimace. Sure. I suddenly realize how awkward it is just standing in the doorway. It's, can I come inside? If it's not too much trouble? Well, his eyes dilate, and he stands up just a little bit straighter.
You want to come in?
Another set of blinks. He throws a hesitant glance back into his apartment. Then finally, steps back.
Sure, go right ahead.
He tries to curl an errant lock of bang behind his ear. It falls back out. I step inside, and am immediately met with a sordid smell. It's not awful, but it's just kind of there. Damp and bitter and curling up inside my nostrils as I look around. The apartment is just as much of a mess as Orlam himself. Clothes piled on the floor, sheets and blankets half falling off the bed, and clutter everywhere. Empty fast food wrappers, unopened mail, weird little trinkets, bottles, cans, glasses. Even the curtains look ready to give up the ghost, half falling off the rod and leaving a crescent moon of sunlight on the opposite wall. I don't say anything, but surely it's all over my face. Orlam just stands there, wringing his hands. Another sweep of his hand through his hair. He darts towards the bed and pushes back the tousled mess of blankets and sheets.
You can, sit here.
He pats the newly cleared space. I do as I'm told, mostly because I'm not sure what else to do. If I'd felt awkward in the door, it was nothing like what I'm feeling now. Orlam scratches his head.
You want anything?
I must look at him blankly.
Coffee or something? Or water? I think maybe I've got some Coke, too?
Oh, coffee's fine. I mean, it's no trouble.
It's fine, it's great. I'll just, put a new pot on.
He scratches at his arm, almost like a dog scratching at fleas. Then skitters off towards the kitchen. I stare at the entryway he disappears into for a few moments before redirecting my attention back to the room. It's a lot smaller than my apartment. At least I have a separate room from my bed. Though his might not seem as small without the junk everywhere. There's a desk in the opposite corner with a dusty old laptop and an empty bottle of whiskey. Piled up next to the desk are what look like 10 or 12 empty delivery boxes. I let my gaze follow the wall back and around until it meets the bulletin board hanging over the bed. In between the fast food menus are scattered postcards, strange papers, and cutouts I can't for the life of me understand the value of, and the occasional photo. One in particular catches my attention. It's us. The 6 of us. The group picture we took at after prom. Hunar and Bucks had been the only 2 to go to actual prom. The rest of us had just crashed the party afterwards. Our high school always held an all-night event of games and food in the gym after prom, I guess to keep the students from going off to party and drink on their own. We looked pretty smart, even me for once, with my little sport coat. Genzo's got his arms around Orlam's and I's shoulders, thumbs jutting out to the side like some kind of 90s frat boy. Gidget's got her hands on her hips, looking mildly irritated at something. And Bucks is dying of laughter at something, practically falling over on Hunar's shoulders. Damn, does that feel like a lifetime ago? Bit of a strange night, though. I remember Genzo being super clingy for the first few hours. He'd snuck in some alcohol and kept making all these off-color remarks as he'd gotten progressively more wasted. Then he just disappeared. Orlam too. And I'd been left to hang out with Gidget the rest of the night. She'd kept leaving unsubtle hints about how much she wished she could have gone to prom and, oh, look at Dana's dress! Wouldn't it have been magical to wear something like that? And then later that night, a hacking cough from the other room jolts me from my nostalgic reverie, and I throw a worried glance in the direction of the kitchen. It continues for a good 10-15 seconds, one of those wet, phlegmy convulsions that racks your whole body. And it only ends when something thuds hard against the countertop. Go see if he's alright. Go see if he's alright. Wait for him to come back out. Go see if he's alright. See if he's alright. Go see if he's alright. Wait for him to come back out. Go see if he's alright. Wait for him to come back out. Despite my worry at the sound of that cough, I can't help but feel that I should give him some space. I don't know. I'm really bad at this social interaction thing. What's acceptable behavior when at a friend's place? What if going in there would just embarrass him or something? I shift to the left, to the right, my toes curling in on themselves as I simply watch the entryway to the kitchen. I don't hear anything else. In fact, it goes so quiet that it almost does finally roust me from the bed. Finally, however, Orlam returns, carrying a mug of coffee between his hands. He's almost painstakingly careful in the way he walks, making sure it doesn't spill out and onto the floor. I can't help but find this funny, given the current state of the apartment. Here, he hands it over just as mindfully, making sure I can get my fingers around the handle. I hope it's okay. Thanks. The mug is orange and sports a Garfield face on one side. I bring it in towards my chest and peer down at the steaming liquid. Orlam takes a seat beside me. He sits close. Too close. His bony knee touches mine, and I can hear him breathing not far from my ear. He pushes his bangs back again and again. Are you gonna drink it? I'm just waiting for it to cool down. Oh. More hand-wringing.
Sorry, it's a bit of a mess in here. I don't have company often.
It's fine. It's my fault anyway. Coming over unannounced? I could see his stockinged feet curl against each other atop the carpet. makes the muscles of his gangly legs lurch beneath the skin.
You were worried about me?
He repeats the same question from earlier. I pause in the middle of blowing on my coffee. Yeah, I tried calling, but you didn't answer. I even left a message. He brings his hands to his knees, gaze pointed downward.
Pretty wild party yesterday, huh?
Not sure I'd call it wild, but it was fun, yeah. Nice to get out of bed.
Yeah.
The side of Orlam's mouth twitches. A pause. Then...
Surprised you're not with Gidget!
Huh? Why's that?
Figured you'd go and console her. Girls are at their most vulnerable when they're upset, you know?
His eyes widen. I roll my eyes. All the more reason for me not to go then. Take a sip of coffee. Me and vulnerable don't mix.
You're kind of weird, you know that, Iggy?
Oh, I'm weird?
I, of course, hit up the bars afterward. You know me, party animal. Once I start, I just can't stop.
Wouldn't have expected any less.
Must have had like 10 girls hitting on me. Absolutely voracious, these ones. Sexiest girls you've ever seen.
Oh yeah?
2 of them even wanted to have a threesome with me, but I had to refuse. Bed's just not big enough, you know? But I'm thinking of getting a remodel. Something that screams, me! A real Love Shack kind of thing.
Sounds pretty sweet.
I thought you were
pretty
seeing
sweet.
Sounds
pretty
sweet.
You were seeing some of it work. Sounds pretty sweet.
Doesn't it though? It'd be like the talk of the town. I could bring people home every night. I mean, not that I don't already. My place is basically Grand Central Station. When the pens are rockin', don't come a-knockin'. You should see me. You'd honestly be so jealous. I'm basically a god of the night scene.
He's getting really excited now. His words coming out faster and faster, almost as though he can't stop them.
Guys, gals, everybody wants some of this, you know what I mean?
Oh, guys too? His eye twitches. He frowns, looks away, then smiles.
I mean, who am I to say no? You know how it is.
I stare at him a moment longer, not saying anything. Then finally take another sip of my coffee. He leans in close, eyes growing wide as he watches me drink it. I pause, slowly turn towards him, one eyebrow raised. He sits back, clasps his hands, unclasps them.
Do you want something to eat? I could order something?
I'm fine, really. I look at him for a moment. Really look at him. From the greasy points of his scraggly bangs to the greenish tinge of his cheeks to the way his knobby knee keeps knocking against mine. Orlam, I finally say, are you seriously okay? He blinks. Laughs.
What are you talking about?
Except that in the next instant, his body lurches forward and his hand goes to his mouth. The sudden movement makes me jerk backwards, spilling about half my copy up and onto my shirt.
Excuse me.
He manages before abruptly sliding off the bed and racing for the bathroom. What the fuck? I don't even mind the coffee. I set the mug down on the floor and take off after him. Then reach the door just in time to see him throw up the contents of his stomach into the toilet bowl. It sounds awful. Each heave a gag that sounds like it's ripping his throat open. His shoulders shudder from the force of it. Fuck. After a minute or so, the convulsions begin to die down and his body slumps down onto the toilet seat, head hanging half into the bowl. I don't know what to say. So, I don't say anything. Instead, I kneel down next to him, one hand to his back. I can feel the knobs of his spine through his rumpled shirt as I rub up and down. And when he sits back, vomit, saliva, and snot drip down his face and chin, his whole body shivering. The color in the bowl is worrying. A horrible greenish brown. Hey, come on, I finally say, pulling him over towards the wall. I sink to my seat, and he slumps against my shoulder. It's quiet. Quiet except for the occasional sniff, the occasional hiccup. There's a towel half wadded, half hanging from the rack just a short ways overhead, so I grab it and use it to wipe at his mouth and chin. You're fine now. For some reason, this makes him smile, chuckle. I see him bite down on his lip, hard.
I did it to myself, you know.
It's barely more than a whisper. I don't say anything at first. Then, what do you mean? Another chuckle. This one sends a gooey chunk down his chin.
It's satisfying somehow, watching all that come pouring out of me, like I'm washing myself clean.
I'm frozen now. One hand to his back, the other still clutching the towel.
It's the only way to make all the bad thoughts go away.
Fuck. I close my eyes, open them again. Fuck, Orlam. You can't.
It's worse every time I see him.
He cuts me off. His smile fades, twists downward. I can see his lip trembling.
Every time. I hope it'll be different, but it's always the same. All those feelings come rushing back.
He brings his hands to his head, fingers digging into his scalp as though trying to scoop something out.
I wish I would just die.
My grip on his shoulder tightens. You don't mean that. Who is he talking about? Genzo? Genzo had certainly given him a lot of shit over the years. But had it been that bad? Guilt tugs at my conscience. I hadn't been the angel of innocence either. Never telling Genzo to stop. I'd sometimes even gone along with him just for the laughs. And then when Orlam's mom had died... No. When she killed herself. I went... I still remember the day he'd come back to school after that. Genzo had gone over to him, face a picture of worry and arms outstretched. And Orlam, for the first time I'd seen this little glimmer of happiness in Orlam's eyes, even through the bleak and the tears. And then Genzo had grabbed the back of his shirt collar and jerked it upwards like a noose around his neck, imitating the music from Psycho and saying, "Suicide is genetic." Fuck. Maybe things had been worse than I remember. I look down at Orlam's hunched form and feel this sort of weird heat building up in the base of my belly. Anger. Anger at myself. Anger at Genzo. Anger at life in general. I'm not normally an angry person. Probably the exact opposite, actually. A little too easygoing. A little too blasé about things. But that thought just fuels my anger. Because maybe if I hadn't been like that, maybe if I'd actually done something or said something, things might not have ended up like this. I kneed my thumb into Orlam's shoulder with a sigh. Gives a little hiccup, his back jumping.
No one's
A cough.
never done anything like this for me before.
He glances back at me with a smile, and for a second, I see the old Orlam, the high school Orlam, from that photo, who might have still been a jumpy, mousy, whiny little thing, but at least when he'd smiled at you, there'd been some genuine joy and happiness behind it. I return the smile and pull him in against my side with a squeeze. Hey, what are friends for?